Be the co-anchor, the co-host, the co-presenter, the co-whatever you want to call on Sunrise on Soul Television. Good morning, Laura.
Hi, Amaka. Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
How was your weekend?
Awesome.
You look great.
Thank you.
I know that your kids have gone on holiday, so you slept better.
Well, I did tell you we also have comrades. We also have comrade Samson Mafa right here in the studio. He is the chairman for the chapter NUJ right here in Ebonyi State, Ebonyi chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists. Thank you very much for coming in, sir. So he is our guest analyst on the newspaper review for this morning. Let's run you down. Let's run through what we have this morning. Now, I'll bring you what the front pages of the newspapers are saying this morning, after which we are going to have a talk with a CSO agent who knows what it means to move from aid to ability as far as it concerns food production in Ebonyi State and Nigeria at large. And then we'll take a break to bring you the Salt Television news this morning. When we return, we'll be having another talk. There's been lots and lots of warning concerning flooding. Is Ebonyi State ready? How can we move beyond clear the gutters, clean the drainages, to actually being ready for any eventuality as far as flooding is concerned? Those are the things we'll be bringing you. And somebody might be asking, what happens to the Chi Davido? That's Chi Davido. I mean,
No, Chivido.
Yeah, so what happens to all the Chivido gist? Don't worry. As long as you stay with Salt Television, you would get all the gist you need as it concerns Chivido. My name is Amaka Izuchukwu, and again, from the very lovely and delectable Laura Amanze.
Hello, good morning, and we hope you get a good ride with us this morning on the show. Welcome.
All right, so let's quickly delve into what the front pages of the papers are saying this morning. We've got This Day, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Trust, The Guardian, and Punch Sports. All right, so let's begin with This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper has Amechi, I will defeat Tinubu if ADC gives me tickets. I know his weaknesses. Excuse me, there are lots of other writers there that you might want to look up. Tinubu, Obasanjo, Jonathan, Atiku, Northern Governors, Aliyah, Akume, Saraki, Mark, others, Mon, Audu, Ogbe. That's a very sad one. And then we'll quickly move over to the Vanguard. Excuse me. The Vanguard says sugar importation rises as local production falters. And that on flooding, FG's fresh warning, states mobilize against flooding. Now we have Peter Obi has integrity. He will keep his one-term promise. Okay. And let's quickly move over to the Punch. The Punch says states hit by 68% spike in foreign debt payments. We have riders there. Debt servicing threatens state fiscal stability, according to NEIT. Lagos, Rivers, others spend 235 billion naira in 6 months. I didn't say that. That's on the front page of Vanguard. And then we have that again on flood crisis. FG predicts more devastation in 15 states. Let's move over now to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says residents flee Kwara villages over attacks. FG deploys fighter jets to chase away terrorists. And we have presidency dispels Tinubu's illness rumor. I hope it is not what we are thinking. Let's move on now to The Guardian. The Guardian says congestion from Broad Street to Atlantic City. Congestion, assets depreciation push HNIS businesses to a core Atlantic City. And we have other ones. Atiku Falana kick as NYSC defense withheld certificates. Cracks widen in ADC coalition as Shakarao allies consider new platform. And then finally on Punch Sports Extra, we have it gunned down. Lookman rejects Arsenal, favors Inter over London club, and quite a lot of other interesting sports story. But how can I not tell you that Nnadozie cherishes Ballon d'Or recognition? Okay, so let's now begin with all that we have had today. Meanwhile, first, let's take the condolence message of the NUJ as it concerns Alujogbe. I mean, he was a huge force to reckon with in the country long before now, when PDP was PDP. I mean...
Yes, thank you so much. The death of a statesman in the person of Adogbe is one that everybody is concerned about, though the man had actually paid his dues. He was once the Minister for Communications in this country. The last was Minister of Agriculture and Natural Resources under Buhari. You know, but the man is known for his vocal nature. He's a man. He was a man who believes that something must be right. It's not right until it is right. So he did his best, and Nigerians appreciated his effort towards the nation building and all the contributions he made as a statesman before his passing. We kind of condole with the family, condole with Nigerians, and for the lost, because nobody, once a loved one dies, no matter how old, it pains, and we share in their sad moment.
That's Laura wants to share in their sad moment too.
No, he has said it all. Audogbe was a very huge figure during his time, especially as it had to do with the Nigeria political terrain under PDP. He made impacts, quite a lot of impact. So it's a huge loss. I mean, he was an elder statesman, and he played his role. It's just unfortunate that now that we would have been requiring and needing more of his inputs, experiences, and all of that, as we still navigate the turbulent waters of Nigerian political terrain. His time had come and he had to go, answer the call that awaits all man. So we did really sympathize with his family and Nigerians at large, and of course the PDP family. He was still a PDP man before he died, I think. So we sincerely sympathize with Nigerians at large.
All right, so let's move over now. I am particularly very interested in the politics in the run-up to 2027, and we have quite a number of things right there on the politics. All right, so let's look at that one in, it's The Guardian. Cracks widen in ADC coalition as Shekarao allies consider new platform. I mean, this was a platform that was just recently formed, right? I think there was this story that I actually missed, and I saw it somewhere. I do not know why. I'll get it. Yeah, P2B has integrity. He will keep his one-term promise. That's according to the Middle Belt Forum. So help us marry these two together. The Middle Belt Forum is saying we really trust Obi. If he says he's going to do one term, he's going to do one term. But already we are beginning to see cracks in between members of this newly formed. Who was that who said the other day that there are so many presidential candidates in the ADC? In the ADC.
Yeah.
Okay. The point is that what is happening in ADC is not a surprise to us. Looking at the nature of politics we play in Nigeria, where people always insist it must be them. If not them, it must not be any other person. And that is what is happening in ADC. We are in a country where people are so self-centered that nobody lets go for others to occupy. And immediately the ADC was formed. Looking at the coalition was unveiled. When you look at the personalities there, you will see that what is happening now is something we expected. Where Atiku, who has contested for presidency for for 3 times, and
it's actually 5 times if he contests.
Okay.
It will
No,
be the
6
fifth
times.
time.
6 times if he contests this one night.
So he's seeing this, and you know he's already aged. He's seeing this as
But he's not older than Tinubu.
It's an article before Tinubu will be rounding up by 2027. Should be about close to 80 years.
That is official age.
81 years, yes.
Official age.
So the man is seeing it as he wants to ensure that he try his best to get the presidency before he leaves the stage as a politician. And you know the case of P2B. P2B is loved such that, in fact, some Nigerians wouldn't want to hear that he's not contesting the next presidential election. So, and Amechi is also gearing up for same position, and so many other persons in the platform. So, what is happening for me is expected. And more persons will end up leaving the ADC. Whereas some will still come in, so long as their interest is protected. Those who are in ADC today will maybe in the build-up to the 2027 election, will still go to APC. Some will return to PDP. It is something we are already familiar with in this country. I
think I totally agree with Samson.
Let them do their fight. Nigeria is, in fact, we have a lot to put together as a country to be able to move.
As a matter of fact, I agree with you, because it would be unusual if there's no infighting in a political coalition such as this, where you have a lot of gladiators in one party. But what I find also very interesting is that it is people who emerged from the PDP, from APC, from AMPP and all that, that are coming together to form this coalition.
Yeah.
So it is expected that there will still be more infighting, not just with the ADC, even with the APC and the PDP. Of course, PDP's own has been ongoing and has been dragging. So, and Nigeria is huge. So we expect more political parties to actually emerge. Eventually, we'll know who and who. I know towards the end, they will start, bringing it down, bringing it together, and then we now begin to know, okay, who is who and who is who. But definitely, one person must emerge in the ADC.
Yeah, I already hear that Jonathan is wooing P2B, offering him a ministerial slot.
Exactly.
Yeah, just for him to actually...
Jonathan is also been courted to join the ADC.
Now, someone actually says that he has actually accepted to actually do join. That he's offering will be a is that a ministerial or an ambassadorial role just for him to step down? I'm not so very...
And let us also add that in the past few weeks, the controversy has been whether Obi would be willing to do one term, you understand, of 4 years, which he has promised in several fora. But people are still, especially those politicians from the northern side, don't also believe that that will be possible. But the man has assured that if given the opportunity, will do first.
But you also agree that it all depends on how it turns out. You understand? Because if his tenure turns out well, and the constitution does not stop him from going more than 4 years,
that is the fear of the northerners, because they believe that immediately after Tinubu's 8 years, if Tinubu eventually wins the second term, that it is their turn. And if they bring a southerner, for instance, P2B, to take over from Tinubu, such a person would want to do first and second term.
But it is not written anywhere in our constitution that
it
must
be. What I want us to end
but we are running rotational president.
There is south, there is southeast, there is southwest, and there is north.
So all right.
You can't just be just a south.
Okay,
Amaka, hello.
No, so this is a good place to leave it there. Speak to this, comrade. Residents flee Kwara villages over attacks FG deploys fighter jets to chase away terrorists. There were terror attacks in community in Kwara State, Kwara State, yeah, in villages there over the weekend. And again, we have seen, FG deploy fighter jets to chase away terrorists. Do you think that the federal government is really committed to actually fighting, ending the reign of terror in the country, or they're just paying lip service to it, always reacting?
The point where the issue in this country is that we are having high level of the hardship in the country is pushing the youth into restiveness, because before now there was nothing like banditry in Kwara. Before now there was nothing like banditry in places like Nasarawa, even Zamfara. But today, because of the hardship, the poverty level which is growing on a daily basis, and government is doing practically nothing to kind of resolve that situation. Because if the youths are engaged, if we begin to take deliberate measure to a kind of employ the youth, make them to be self-reliant by at least training them on skills, this issue will reduce. But today you can agree with me that it is growing. And in the Kwara, which just started having its own fair share of the problem, we believe that if the sitting governor there, and there's this political crisis in Kwara currently, so that also could have helped.
I wanted to point out that the Kwara issue is actually not fresh, because there have been this Fulani Emirate thing that has been, the tussle has been for some years now between the Fulanis and the Yoruba parts of Kwara. You understand? So that tussle has been on. And what is happening in Ifelodun local government area, the Babanla village in particular, is not new. You understand? And it's what's
recently, the issue is that there are some political heavyweights who are no longer comfortable with what the governor is doing, the policies and programs of the current governor of Kwara. And they are a kind of regrouping to fight him, to ensure that they return power to their own camp in the next election. So this thing, and in the north, because of the infiltration of arms and light weapons, later then these bandits will now be used as a tool to fighting, like Zamfara. You can relate to what is happening in Zamfara. Zamfara, immediately the current governor defeated the immediate past or his predecessor. A lot of the crisis continued, the criminality in Zamfara continued.
So
the question is,
are you saying that government is actually paying lip service, or rather they are using insecurity? It's a tool.
Yes, that is for me, because government has all the arsenals to a kind of dislodge any kind of banditry. They have it. The Nigerian army are capable. In fact, we have the best army in Africa. But the point is that due to the politics we play with everything, it has actually a kind of degenerated into our safety, security architecture. So we no longer pay serious attention to resolving the issue of insecurity in the country, because some persons believe that with that insecurity, certain things will be achieved. Maybe politically, they will kind of dislodge some persons. So those are the things that have actually increased the level of insecurity we have in this country. And I believe that we plead with government to not to play politics with insecurity. Government at all levels should see security, because once it degenerates, it must affect you, even as the sitting governor or whatever, or the sitting president. So I believe that there should be needs for drastic measure by the president of this country, who is the commander-in-chief, who commands the army, who commands the police, and other security architectures to ensure
Navy
that,
and all of that.
to ensure that we dislodge.
The fear of what is happening in London, if it's not checked, especially in that Babanla village, when a community, I was watching where one woman was actually weeping that they must all leave the village today. So if it's not checked, what it means is that people are driven away from their place of abode, and other people will now come and take over. So you discover that what is also happening in the North Central is beginning to happen in Kwara. You understand? Which is also still part of North Central. So the land grabbing thing continues. So like the comrade said, it is important that those who are beneficiaries of this crisis, this insecurity, because there are shadows behind it. So those shadows has to be fished out for this to stop. Because I can't imagine me, being uprooted from where you've known as your home. We are talking about your village, for crying out loud, not town. Because if things happen to you in the town, you run to your village. Now it is happening in your own village, and where are you running to? So it needs to be taken seriously.
All right, so I think this is where we're going to draw a curtain. We had a lot of other interesting things on the papers. Remember the young lady, Raya, or I think that's her name? Rita, who cried out saying this Tinubu's government is killing us as a club member. Do you know that NYSC has withheld a certificate, and they have reasons for that? So grab yourself a copy of any of the national dailies, and you would have all that story to yourself. We're going to take a break now. When we return, we'll have our guest in the studio talk about moving from age to ability. Thank you again, comrade, for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show, comrade. We hope to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ebonyi State Ministry of Capital City Development and Urban Planning is saddled with the responsibility of overseeing all fiscal planning matters within the Capital Territory. The main objective of this fiscal planning is to see the main arrangement of urban land use for the creation of functional, efficient, and aesthetically pleasing fiscal environments for living, working, circulation, and recreation for the people of the state.
Our core mandate here is to regulate and monitor, supervise every activities that goes on in the built industry. Talking about development, structural development within the capital city. Talking also about approval of building plan and issuance of building completion certificate, and also issuance of fencing permit. And then we also take complaints from the general public, where because issues normally arises in terms of people scrambling or maybe making argument or misunderstanding in the areas of borders or boundaries from one property to the other or from one plot to the other.
Following the inauguration of the Honorable Commissioner for Capital City Development, Chief Sunday Eleshi Inyima, in June 2023 by the wonder-working Governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Builder Prince Francis Sobonanwifuru, the Ebonyi State Ministry of Capital City Development has made tremendous achievements despite the fact that the ministry is not a full-time project-oriented ministry. These achievements include his quest to ensure that Ebonyi State Capital is given the needed aesthetic value in line with His Excellency the Governor's People Charter of Needs agenda. Approved the following projects for the ministry: modification and development of Ebonyi Tower at Udensi Roundabout, landscaping of design increment flow, screeding and painting of curbs at Udensi Roundabout, repair works on the water fountain at Udensi Roundabout, repair of 4 number of generators for the water fountain at Udensi Roundabout, production of the statue of Ekumenyi's son that showcases and brings back the history of what Ebonyi is known for, located at Udensi Roundabout, procurement and installation of solar traffic lights in different parts of the state capital by the Ministry of Capital City Development since the inception of the present administration in the state, procurement and installation of 102 prefabricated bus shelters in Abakaliki Urban City, repair and replacement of damaged rails, pipes at Alex Ekweme Federal University, Ndufu-Alike Junction along Abakaliki Afikpo Road, Nkwago Abakaliki, and reconstruction of old government house collapsed fence along Ugoja Road, Abakaliki. While on this, the Ebonyi State Ministry of Capital City Development, in its quest to ensure that the city benefits from the degree of political stability and good governance that are necessary for long-term investments which serve as the seat of government, has a strong institution and legal framework which reduces the danger of instability and policy changes which reassure the investors on the need to invest in the state, has made plans to have structural plan for the states.
That we are doing all within our best to ensure that the state has a properly approved structural plan. I call it structural plan because yes, before it used to be master plan, but the United Nations Charter reviewed the process of ensuring that developmental control within cities are properly documented and managed, and that's when it now graduated and is now properly addressed as structural plan. Well, since creation of the state, 1996, a lot of efforts have been made, especially beginning with the administration of His Excellency Chief Martin Elechi, to have a proper structural plan for the state, which will guide developers, so that it is not just everybody coming up with whatever design you want for a particular area. Remember that there's an adage that says that if you fail to plan, you're already planning to fail, and we will not want that within the state.
Talking about the master plan of the capital city, as it stands now, there's no working master plan for the capital city, but there was an attempt by the previous administration of His Excellency Governor Martin Elechi to put up a master plan. By then, the boundaries of the capital territory was a 15-kilometer radius from Vanco Junction. But in the course of preparing the master plan, the boundaries of the capital city was expanded to the ring road, which caused a variation in the contract terms, and the then administration was not able to meet up with the variation, and that forestalled the attempt to have a master plan within the capital city, though we have an interim report of that master plan. But as it is now, for the government to be able to have a plan that will enable future developmental plan of the capital city, what we need to do now is no more a master plan, but a structure plan. A structure plan in the sense that for us to do a master plan will be very, very not only capital intensive on the side of government, but for the fact that the state has been developed to an extent that for us to have a master plan now, we need to, so many things we need to give way so that we'll be able to allocate different land uses for the master plan.
And standards of the approved building plans that the ministry has vetted and approved.
On various, about 14 points, 14 junctions, some traffic lights that has helped us to moderate and control vehicular movement and also passengers movement. Even though after construction we have actually handed this over to the Ministry of Transport through the SSA on transport, Ferdinand Nwabaga. He is now the man that is in charge of that traffic light, but it's an initiative of this ministry.
According to the head of Town Planning Department in the ministry, Chief Mrs. Esther Nwite, within 2 years of the present administration, the ministry has approved the following: 1,508 building plans, which include residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. 807 fencing permits have been granted. An inquest for urban renewal. The ministry has also opened and expanded about 25 internal roads within the period under review. All these landmark achievements have been tested and proved that Ebonyi State Government, under the leadership of His Excellency, Right Honorable Theodore Francis Sobonanwifuru, is seriously working to make the state a better place for living. God bless the State Ministry of Capital City Development. God bless Ebonyi State. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Water is a great necessity to mankind. Practically, no man can live without water. In Ebonyi State, the water sector has been neglected for many years. This singular act contributed to the scarcity of water in the state. Boom! God remembered Ndi Ebonyi and sent a helper in the person of Right Honorable Builder Francis Ugbonaya Winfuru, Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, who through his People's Charter of Needs showcased his deepest love for Ebonyans by prioritizing water sector. From his swearing in May 29th, 2023, he took the bull by the horn and conquered the fears of many Ebonyans by reviving the water sector through his disciple Honorable Nka Chinedum Magnus, Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Ebonyi State. And today, Ebonyans are very glad.
Time we came here last year, I find out that this place was not going, no problem. Nobody can even believe that as of today that it's going to be like this. But by the grace of God, we're almost done. We said that the old Abakaliki water scheme, which is here, will come back to life, and by the grace of God,
Let's meet with Honorable Nka Magnus Chinedum, the Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources, Ebonyi State, to take us through the journey so far in the water sector.
What I thought was lost forever now returns and bonds reset.
Water is life, and our governor realized that right from the start of this administration. Easy Water scheme, that is where the journey started. Before this administration, the place was an enclave for criminals. They vandalized the whole machineries and equipment there, and then this administration took it upon itself to rehabilitate that scheme. It was done with speed. In less than 1 month, the Easy Water scheme was rehabilitated. You could see the infrastructure there, how it was totally revamped. All the broken glasses replaced, solar lights provided at the streets. So at night, the place is more of a tourist environment. All the windows, burglary proofs were provided, so the criminals had no way to access the equipment. We have not recorded any loss of any item since this administration took over. Not only that, the scheme was connected to the national grid. So it was never done before. We had over about 200 million naira accumulated debt to NEPA, now EBBC. So you can imagine the length of time that the place was abandoned. But the Excellency took a giant stride by gradually clearing these debts. So after the rehabilitation of this scheme, then when we resumed pumping, we discovered that along the main supply lines, it was also seriously vandalized. There were serious leakages everywhere. You could see from the pictures a lot of leakages along the main supply line up to the town here. So we took the bold step by fixing these major repairs. Don't forget that this pipeline was commissioned as in 1985 at the then Jim administration. So it is an old infrastructure, apart from the vandalization. Because you are aware of what is happening now. Any iron, we are the worst victim of vandalization, because most of our materials, our pipes are iron, valves. So all these iron dealers, I'm talking about the scrap dealers, they vandalize our infrastructure seriously. We had to take a bold step to fix these things from Ezilo up to the town here, and we'll continue doing the same in the upper level. We see a lot of damages where people build on top of our pipes, electric poles mounted on top of our pipes. A deliberate destruction of our infrastructure. Even with the network providers, you see them digging. In some cases, you see where they pass their cables through our water supply line because they felt there was no water. But they never knew that the Savior would be around. We were able to fix the heat-up booster station. The essence of fixing this heat-up booster station is to add pressure to the water supply. So that project is almost 100% done. What is outstanding there is the transformer, the electrical components. The wiring has been completed. Come to the Ministry of Water Resources and ask for connection. And wherever you see water leaking, please do well to inform us, because there is several places that water is still leaking as a result of the old infrastructure, as a result of construction. One thing I have to tell Ebonyi, especially those living in the capital city, is that they should be patient. That before the end of this year, if we don't cover the whole of Abakaliki, it will remain very small. You saw the mega project we are doing along the Omoga Road. It is a very serious mega project. We are laying a 500 mm DI pipes along that line, very costly pipes. We are laying along the line, replacing the old main pipes that was done with AC as asbestos. They are weak, so they are causing serious leakages. So if we allow them to continue to leak, the concrete road will fail. So the best option is for us to get it out of the middle of the road, relocate the pipe with a new DI pipe, so that to save that road and also to serve the good people of Ebonyi living along the Obaga Road and the auxiliary roads, streets, to serve them better. And we have been mandated by His Excellency the Governor to deliver that job within 2 weeks. And we are working, in fact, almost day and night to make sure we deliver, and we are going to do that. They are charged with building boreholes, and they started since last year. Even partnering with Baywash, they provided about 50 boreholes, and a lot more are being done in this fiscal year. So even then, some of the honorable members who have a borehole in their constituencies are being empowered to make sure that they execute these boreholes, to make sure that those living in the villages also have something, have some water while they are waiting to get the pipe-borne water. So the idea is let them have water, let them have borehole to cushion the effect of the water scarcity in the hinterland. So while they are waiting, water infrastructure, provision of water and protection of water is a huge cost. So there are other items in the government that are competing for the demands of the government fund. So it's not only water that the government is dealing with. So we have to take them gradually. So those in the local communities are giving boreholes now to cushion the effect while they are waiting for their time. These mega schemes. Of course, the Ishago water scheme, the civil works is, let me say, 98% completed, if not 100%. If you visited there, you saw the additional water reservoir put at the local government headquarters there to serve the good people of Ishago South there. And then the reservoir at Ogadema has been completed. So what we are left now is piping and electromechanicals to get Ishago water project working. Nothing else is holding it now. So the stage we are now is electromechanicals and piping. The administration of His Excellency Ebonyi is moving in the right direction, and the speed with which we are tackling all these water schemes is quite interesting. Oka water scheme, we are not forgetting that. What we are doing now is just to make sure that we don't take everything at the same time and end up not doing it. So we are taking these things gradually, one after the other. Oka water scheme will soon be on board. All the encumbrances in the scheme have been cleared. So the Oka water scheme is also in the program of the state. It is not forgotten because it is as large as Ofrebe water scheme. So Oka water scheme is capable of taking care of the whole of the south. All we need is just to put booster stations along the line to get the water to any local government in the south. You see what is going on around the state. The government is developing everywhere. You see what is happening at the Vanco Junction. So when these huge infrastructures are done, there's no way you can do them without tampering with the pipes underground. So as these things are done, we'll fix, we'll move along. So if you still don't have water now, you'll be patient that within a short time you're going to get water. Those living in a cast area or Zugu, very soon they'll get water. I said within 1 month and I mean it, because we are going to deliver the older bucket water still. Very soon we're going to have enough water. So, and reticulation this water to various cities is our priority. Because if you have all this water coming from Ofrebe, coming from Esilo, coming from other public water seed, and we don't deliver these things to the street, then we rather cause flooding. So we are taking water replacement very, very seriously. And I thank His Excellency, and I'm proud of what he's doing in that sector.
What do Ebonyans say about the rescue of the governor? Let's hear what they have to say.
I so much commend the state government, the governor of Ebonyi. He has really done well, marvelously. So I will thank him for this tap that is running today, so that the less privileged can be able to fetch water.
We are so happy to have the water. For a very long time, water has not been rushed. It's very difficult for us living around this side. And for this one, for drinking, for both cooking, everything.
The Ministry of Water Resources alternatively have embarked on sinking a motorized and manual boreholes in rural areas to curb water scarcity. The governor has also given approval for the construction of a central parking store for the Ministry of Water Resources at Centenary City to ensure the safety and accessibility of the ministry's equipment. Ndi Ebonyi, it is a new dawn. Our tomorrow is indeed here. Let's support Governor Francis Obonnaya Nwifuru to achieve even more.